Hi, so I thought I would show you my favorite comic from the 90s. Now, as a lot of you know, in the 90s, I was a huge Vertigo fan. I was a huge fan of loads of other stuff as well, like, for example, Love and Rockets and different comics like that. But my ultimate comic that kind of guided me through the 90s was one done by the same publishing house who published Love and Rockets, Fantagraphics. Um, but it was Hate by Peter Bagg, and this originally came out in 1990. Um, and I remember just the cut. Well, I was aware of Peter Bagg beforehand through a comic he had called Neat Stuff, which focused on the Bradleys, this like dysfunctional American family, and but it was done like in this oversized magazine format, like Love and Rockets was. So I kind of stayed away from that. I very much stuck to American-sized comics back then, just your standard normal A4 comics. But then it got they did a trade paperback collection of strips from Neat Stuff. So I got that. I think it was just called the Bradleys, something like At Home with the Bradleys. So I picked that up. That's up. So I was aware of the Bradleys, and I was aware of the son, Buddy Bradley. And in 1990, they released the first issue. Let me just see if I can find the cover. And that just really, out of all the books, there was a sea in the early 90s. In 1990, there was a sea of like all X titles, all Vertigo titles, a slew of all different independent ones. But no, there's no cover that had a fucking ugly monster truck on the cover with this really ugly young American with acne and this horrible greasy cap, and it just stuck out. I'm calling it Hate as well. I had to pick it up. It didn't twig it straight away. I just knew it was the same artist, but it didn't twig it straight away that it was focused on Buddy because it was set a few years later than Neat Stuff. And I fell in love straight away. I mean, 1990, I'd have been 20 going on. Yeah, I think I was 20 when it came out. I was 21 in late July. So I was the right age. I was roughly oh, pardon me, I was roughly the same age as the main protagonist, as Buddy Bradley. So I could relate. I was into grunge and everything like that. So, yeah, I didn't look like this back then. I was trying to emulate. Internally, I wanted to look like Courtney Love, but externally, I was looking more like Kurt Cobain. So I had long, straggly blonde hair, messy goatee, and shades, and plaid shirts and stuff, and jeans with long johns underneath, stuff like that. So I was really into the whole Seattle grunge look in 1990. So, and this focused on the Seattle scene because he moves away. I think it's in this one. Yeah, it says here the complete hate. So this complete collects the first 15 issues of Hate. So it says complete Hate Volume 1 collects the first 15 issues of Hate, which comprise the first major arc of the series, the black and white grunge Archie era, as Baggers called these everyday travails of Gen X slacker Buddy Bradley and the losers, schemers, and romantic partners in his orbit. Part screwball comedy, part soap opera, part loose autobiography, Hate is an enduring chronicle of Seattle's grunge milieu and related subcultures, as well as righteously relatable to anyone bumbling through their 20s. Future volumes will so there's going to be two more volumes. Future volumes will feature the rest of the original 30-issue Hate run from 1990 to 1998, the 9 Hate annuals, and 2024's Hate Revisited, and tons of other Hate-related comics, illustrations, ephemera, which were created for books, magazines, comics, toys, and other merchandise. So this is just wonderful, and I'm just so excited to revisit again. I've had it in comic format. I had it when they released them in trade paperback, which had like 6 issues in each trade paperback. And then when I got divorced and I lost all my comics, I had it all digitally as well. So it's getting this big chunky format with really nice French flaps and gorgeous interiors, all the covers as well, and really fun introduction by Peter Bagg himself. It's just a really fun way to revisit this comic. It's called Hate, but I don't hate it. I love it. I'd call this comic my love comic. I just adore everything about Buddy Bradley. He's a complete dick. He's a complete asshole, and that's what makes him relatable. There's nothing redeemable about him. He fucks up all the time, but that's part of his enduring quality in a way. And he's surrounded by characters who are even worse than him. His younger brother, who last time in Neat Stuff in the Bradleys, he was this little obnoxious little pipsqueak, and now he's this hulking, um, obnoxious, racist asshole. And so it's just wonderful how they play with the time jump as well. But yeah, it's if you're into the whole, if you've got fond memories of the whole Seattle scene of Sub Pop records, of people, this is when comic coffee shops became in vogue, when they became popular. So it's this whole, so it just encapsulates that perfect period of when people went to see Linklater movies and stuff like that. It's that whole Generation X. It's when Generation X were the cool, angsty people of the 90s, whereas now we're like the wise older generation. Fuck that. And his art style is just perfect for that decade. His pit characters are just these weird shapes and squiggles. Nobody's conventionally attractive, and that's what makes it realistic, because it reflects all the personal insecurities you can see in their physiology as well. And there's people in it who are like, who you think are hipsters, and who Buddy idolizes, and it turns out they've got even more problems than Buddy has. It's just wonderful slice of life. It's comedy without being outright. It's not stupid comedy. It's the comedies in the interactions. Like I said, it's like a good Linklater. It's like Slacker the movie. It's got that perfect dialogue, and everything from sexual relationships to trying to find work just to get money so you can go out to see the latest band. It's completely relatable. Messing about, getting bad drugs, being screwed over by your friends, supporting your friends even when you know they're the most repellent, repulsive person. Because they're your friend, you've got that loyalty code. Because he's got a friend, this guy who starts a band, and he's completely objectionable, but it's his friend. And everything about it is just perfect. And the whole packaging of the book is just a delight from the first page through to the last page. And yeah, I would recommend this for anybody looking for something a bit different, something that's very, very well written. No line of dialogue is wasted. It's just you reading it, and it's some parts of it's almost like cringe comedy where you go, "Oh, I can't really watch that." But he does it in a way where it doesn't veer too much into uncomfortableness, so you still want to peer through the curtain to see, are they really doing that? It's just wonderful. I can't give it praise enough. It is a perfect 10 out of 10, and I will be getting the other two volumes. Um, I've not reread it yet. I've glanced through it, but I only read the digital ones about 5 years ago, so it is still very fresh in my memory. It is one of my all-time favourite books. Like I said, for me, this perfectly encapsulated everything that I loved about the 90s. This was me when I was at my most painful, trying to be relevant and cool. And so it brings back that kind of warm memory that I have had of going to see these like obscure bands and brag about them and stuff like that. Oh god, yeah. I'm just flashing back to when I used to go to all my secondhand shops to get the cool clothes. But yeah, it's great, and like I said, the art is a delight. He's a one-man tour de force. Peter Baggers. He's a great writer, and he's a wonderful artist. Nobody does art like this. He is the Robert Crumb of his generation. And what makes this, I think, work so well is because he's not. I think there's like a 10-year gap. I think he's like 10 years older than Buddy Bradley, so he'd have been about 30 when he wrote Hate. Yeah, I think he's about 66 now. Um, and so he's got that seniority. It's like he's writing fondly about his kid brother, and I think that's what works because he's not writing as a contemporary. He's writing as somebody with seniority over his character, but he's walked that path already. He's experienced those mistakes, those fuck ups, and those magic moments already, and so he's imbues that into his character, and I think that's what gives it its depth, because this could just be a throwaway comic, But for something that on the surface looks silly, sometimes gross, there's a gravitas to it. There's an element of depth to it, what you don't get in a lot of humor comics. And yeah, it comes with my highest seal of recommendation. If you're still thinking of what to get for somebody for Christmas, get them this Hate Complete Volume 1. This, it like I said, contains the first 15 issues, and the next one is coming out in a month's time, and then there's the third volume I think is coming out in March, and it's got quite a lot of good matter. It's got the not got much back matter, but it's got a lot of front matter. There's a big long introduction by Peter Bagg, and it reprints all the covers as well. You will not be disappointed with this book. Don't be put off that it's Fantagraphics. I love Fantagraphics, but I know some people are just pure Image, DC, and Marvel. Don't be. It's extremely accessible. It's the most accessible indie comic I think that's out there, and you'll just have a blast. So do yourself a favour, buy yourself one of these, and if you've got extra money, buy your best friend this as well. Okay, bye.